Alright folks, this is Wesley here from Superesse Straps. Over the next probably 30 minutes we're going to be breaking open a bracelet from Superesse Straps. Tonight we're going to be opening the Bug Out Bracelet. The Bug Out Bracelet is the flagship model by Superesse Straps. It's the one that is completely packed with all sort of survival gear and supplies. And we'll talk through each one and we'll demonstrate each one. So let's get started, guys. Anything you order from us, any bracelet, is going to come shipped in a waterproof, screw top, survival tin can. So you can reuse this later to, put your own survival supplies in, use it to make char cloth, even use it to boil and cook stuff in. It's going to come with at least 2 cards. These are reference cards. So basically in each reference card, it's going to list everything inside the bracelet. So after you order this bracelet and you're wearing it for a couple of years, you may forget everything that's inside of it. And if you're going to break it open, you want to make sure you've got what you need in there. So this is just a quick guide. Here on the red side, it lists every item in it, and it lists what's on the upgraded models of the bracelet and what comes on the standard model. So keep this with you. On the back side of it, it's some helpful information. You're going to have the Morse code guide as a quick reference. You'll also have some simple water purification tips. So just a little add-on we like to throw in there for you. So here's the bracelet. Let's tear it out. We'll also drop in a couple extra Ranger bands and Kevlar saws and tinder and stuff in most orders. So you've got some excess items there with you, okay? So here's the Bug Out bracelet. This one's the coyote brown one. Some sort of it's like a tan color or a flat dark earth. And this is the fully upgraded, with the exception of we didn't use the fire cord on it. The fire cord right now, if you're not familiar with a fire cord, that's a 7-strand, 550-pound tensile strength paracord that also has tinder inside of it. So we don't have that cord on here. It looks the same. You've got all the same functions except you just don't have the excess tinder. And that's not a big deal. I wanted to go with a brown. Obviously you can see from this bracelet, the Escape and Evade Pathfinder I'm wearing. It's one of my favorite colors. So let's talk through this bracelet, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know, okay? Leave comments, and we'll respond to your comments a little bit later on as well. So first things first, we'll start on the outside of the bracelet, work our way around, and then we'll actually open the bracelet up and go inside of it, okay? So first, this is the 3-in-1 buckle, and by 3-in-1 I mean it has 3 functions. It's got a whistle, which is quite loud. It's a peatless whistle. You've also got a ferro rod fire starter here in the center, and we'll make a fire with that here in a little bit. And then here, this white thing you're seeing is a ceramic razor blade. It's zirconian, and it's a very sharp knife that you can use to cut things open, or you can also use it to strike against the ferro rod to shoot sparks out and get a fire started. Next, we've got a compass here. This is a button compass. Use it as a backup compass. It's very reliable. We've tested it. Obviously I'm in the United States Army, and I've gone through land nav course with it and successfully found my points. So it has been thoroughly tested. We tested seven or 8 different compasses, and we settled with 2 of them that we really liked. So this is one of them. Then here in the center is the P38. If you're not familiar with the P38, first off, it was designed to be a can opener, but I call it the P38 multi-tool because it has so many additional functions. So it's hooked in there by a paracord lanyard. One end was underneath the Ranger band to keep it nice and tight against the bracelet. So it's not going to go anywhere, and you can still use it as its function to open cans. You can also use these ends here, the corners, as like a Phillips or flathead screwdriver, and you can obviously use it as a pry bar. Secondly, the item that is sharp that's used to puncture cans to open them is a great little box opener, or just really any use you could use a small knife for. And we put a shoelace. This is the official Safety of Life at Sea Coast Guard approved signaling device, and it's on the back side of that P38. So you can access this as a signaling tool for rescue or to send messages. We've also got a glow light surface here on the buckle. that glow light surface, you expose it to a little bit of light, and it's going to illuminate for, you know, probably 10 minutes or more. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of like when you were a kid, you had those glow stickers of stars up on your ceiling. It's the same technology. It's just a simple glow-in-the-dark sort of surface. So finally, we've got 4 Ranger bands. These are these 4 black rubber bands you see, and underneath these 2 on the end are some extra additional supplies. So first of all, here on this end, underneath is a yellow string. That yellow string is a Kevlar saw. It's a 220-pound tensile strength, flame resistant, UV resistant cordage, and it's made of Kevlar. So you can use it as a snare, but the primary purpose is to be used as a friction saw. You would wrap it around your hands, preferably while wearing gloves, because it will cut into your hands as you're going back and forth. If you don't have gloves, you can wrap it around 2 sticks and hold the sticks as a safety device, so it's not going to be cutting against your fingers. So we will demonstrate this Kevlar saw, and I say we demonstrate it now. Let's demonstrate everything on the outside of the bracelet first before we open it up, okay? So stand by, and we are going to open this complete bracelet up, okay? So I'm going to lay that back down. I do have some gloves with me, so I'm going to put the gloves on. You know it gets serious when you put the gloves on. And what we're going to do, I've got with me 2 paracord links here and a zip tie, and we're just going to cut through all 3 of these kind of at the same time using this friction saw. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get this friction saw ran between all 3 of these as such. And of course you can use this in survival situations, as far as if you're trying to make a spear, you want to cut a tip of like some wood in half. You can use it to cut wood in half, make kindling. Anytime you need anything to be cut in half, it's going to cut through. I've cut through a 2x4 with this yellow Kevlar saw you're looking at here. So next I'm going to wrap it around 2 of my fingers twice, and then I'm going to wrap it around my other 2 fingers twice. So I can get it through there. And the more back and forth motion you've got is going to be better, because you're able to use a friction saw by putting resistance all over your saw and focusing the resistance on one area of the item you choose to cut through. So here we go. Alright, so everything's just been cut through that easily. So let me take my gloves off, and I will grab that stuff I just cut through so you can see how easily it was cut through. Or at least you can see evidence that it was cut through. Alright, so here's all the ends cut in half. And we can take that off now. So we successfully cut through all that paracord, and we successfully cut through this zip tie. So there you go. This Kevlar saw will cut through wood. It'll cut through the swivel portion of a handcuff, pair of handcuffs, and you can see, you know, we're going to be able to use this doing that same function at least 20 more times, if not more. So there's your Kevlar saw. And next up, under this Ranger band on this side, is the tinder wick. Tinder wick is a red string that's coated in highly flammable oils and material that will catch fire well. This is going to be great for when we start a fire a little bit later, and we're going to use the actual ferro rod from inside this, from the buckle, and I'll show you how to use this string. So I'm going to lay the string right here. I've got the Kevlar saw here. Now, what do you say we break this open? So first things first, you want to find the end of the bracelet that has the loose ends of the paracord. So on this bracelet, it's on this side, and basically with any paracord bracelet, you're going to have 2 loose ends on the bracelet, and they've been melted. So you can use your bare hands to kind of work back and forth on this until you can expose one of those strands. And so here we've now exposed them. It's not going to come loose on its own, so you're going to have to use your hands to break that open. So now we've got these 2 strands exposed, and we're just going to start unraveling the bracelet. So this is one of those time-consuming times that may get a little boring for you if you're going to be watching. And just so you know, we are live streaming this on Instagram and Facebook, so there's nothing being like paused or redone. This is happening live, and I've got it recorded on my GoPro camera, and then I'm going to take that GoPro and upload it to YouTube later tonight. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're lucky because you're seeing a live stream, or what was a live stream, and you know nothing's been edited or anything. So you're seeing how quickly this can be unraveled. And you also saw I took that one Ranger band off at the end. I'm going to go ahead and take this one off now that we're here at this point. So now we got 2 Ranger bands accessed, and you can see how I'm starting to show off that internal survival core right here. That's what has all the remaining supplies in it. So I've talked about everything that's on the outside. When we make these bracelets, we design it to have as many items on the outside of the bracelet as possible. So if you need to start a fire, if you need to signal, whatever it may be, most of those tools are going to be easily accessible on the outside of the bracelet. If you're going to be opening the bracelet, that means it's a real-world survival situation, and you're using this as a last-ditch effort. Maybe you got separated from your bug-out bag. Maybe you're in the urban environment and you're not able to carry extra gear and supplies with you. Whatever it may be, unless your arm gets amputated, you're going to have your bracelet on you, and you're going to have all these extra supplies. So now we've made it to the other end of the P38. I'm going to go ahead and work this Ranger band off. You want to make sure you save all your Ranger bands because this is going to be great fire tinder. And I'll show you how the Ranger bands work as fire tinder here in a little bit. Lucky for the folks on YouTube, if you don't want to sit and watch all of this, you would be welcome to fast forward through this section. And this is all one continuous length of paracord, so you can use this paracord later. It's going to have about 10 to 15 feet in each bracelet, depending on the size of your wrist. So now we're about 3/4 through. I'll lay that down for you so you can take a look at it. And we'll keep working through it. So, if something bad does happen, a lot of people may panic and kind of, hyperventilate or whatever it may be. One thing behind this is it's kind of a calming thing. As you're sitting here, it gives you a chance to collect your thoughts, think about a plan of action, what you're going to do, and just kind of slow things down. Because when something bad happens, say you're kayaking, it's the dead of winter, it's negative degrees out, and you've lost your gear and you're starting to panic and you don't know how you're going to make a fire that night, just calm down, collect yourself. And while you're making this or opening this up, you're going to be able to just kind of think things through and plan out what's going to happen next. Bring all this out. So you can see how this buckle is now loose. It's here on the end. We're almost through. And now we can take this core out. So now we've accessed the entire center survival core, and we do have all this paracord, and we can keep working through it and unraveling it so we have a good 10 feet of cordage Right now, let's lay this to the side. Now that you've kind of seen everything we do have here, we'll lay this over here, and we'll get started on the survival core. Now, this is wrapped in heat shrink tubing, so it's completely waterproof. Not that it has to have the heat shrink tubing on it, because it's also wrapped in duct tape, which is great waterproofing. But to get this open, obviously if you have a knife, that's going to be the best thing to do. If you don't have a knife, we put a slit already in here so you can grab it and pull like this and expose it and start working that center survival core out as such. If you don't have a knife, this is the way you would do it. If you have a knife, or if you want to use the ceramic razor blade built into your buckle, have at it. That could be helpful to expedite the opening of this bracelet. And also, if you want to conserve this tube, it'd be better to cut it and slit it a little bit so you can be able to conserve what's inside of it. So now you can see we're accessing the duct tape where all your remaining stuff's going to be in. And like I said, you can use the ceramic razor blade to assist in opening. Just kind of slide through like that to cut open. And we'll work this out. Once you get through this, then you've got to open the duct tape inside. And what you want to do when you're doing that, you want to take your time and be very careful, especially if you plan on using the duct tape at a later point, which you can use the duct tape to waterproof like a tear in a poncho or a tent. I actually used my Bug Out Bracelet one time when we were on the river and my paddle broke. It was the actual paddle portion that broke, and I put the duct tape on that slit, and then I used a paracord to wrap around it with 2 sticks as a brace, and I was able to continue rafting for the next day using that repaired paddle that thankfully I had my bracelet with me. So now you want to look for where the duct tape ends meet, and it's standard mil-spec duct tape, or some people call it 100-mile-an-hour tape. And I don't know if you notice, I don't really have much fingernails, so this portion is going to be more difficult for me than most people that have fingernails, because I'm kind of using the nubs of my finger to find that duct tape opening. And again, if you have a knife, you can go ahead and just tear it open, slice it through to get to that. I'm trying to do things as much as I can without any extra tools, because I like to think of it as this being all you have. I mean, not that you were naked surviving or you were stupid enough not to bring a knife, but you catch my drift there. So we'll take our time here, and again, this is the sort of time, it's time consuming, but when all's said and done, you're going to be happy you took your time. And I've taken a bracelet that's been worn for about 1.5 years and done this same thing. And you would think like the residue and everything would be a lot worse, but it maintains the same way. Basically what I'm seeing right now, and this bracelet was just recently packed. Basically the duct tape, whenever you see duct tape, it's always wrapped about itself. It's rolled over on itself multiple times, and that's what you're seeing here. We've got it rolled over on itself, so it retains its residue, its adhesiveness. So you're not really losing that. You do just want to take your time opening this, because there's so many supplies in it that you don't want to injure them. While they're in that paracord, they're kind of protected, especially when they're in that heat shrink tubing. But once you've got it out like this, it's more exposed, and as you use your fingers, there's matches inside this, and you could kind of shatter the matches. They'll still be usable, but just like there's a Strike Anywhere match in here, you break the tip off, that's the Strike Anywhere portion, it's going to make it more difficult to start that fire. The good thing is you've always got ferro rods in here. So I'm going to bring this up to the camera here in a second so you can see the progress. But as far as having stuff on you, this is going to be the one guarantee way that you know you've got gear on you. And you know it's going to be there when you need it. And this Bug Out bracelet is kind of designed to be the catch-all bracelet because it has so many items in it. It's got over 20 items. If you're not quite sure what bracelet's for you and you want to be prepared, or maybe you spend time outside, this is a good kind of generic one for people. We make bracelets like the Escape and Evade Pathfinder and the Seer Sidekick that are more designed towards the military, people serving behind enemy lines, or you know, folks that are outside on the range a lot. You can call it tactical bracelets. Then we've got the first responder bracelet, which is great for law enforcement and first responders. It's got extra backup tools on there as well. We have a first aid one called the medic strap, which has like alcohol pads and aspirin and stuff like that inside. Alright, so let's bring this up to the cameras so you can see what we've got going on so far. This has a good 2 lengths of paracord on here, of duct tape on here, and depending on the bracelet they're going to be usually at least 6 inches long. Alright, so now we can start seeing the stuff inside that survival core, and you'll start working these internal items out. As I take them out, I'll talk about what they are, and once we get everything spread out, then we'll demonstrate some of them. So first thing we're going to take out here is this aluminum foil. This is heavy duty aluminum foil. It's about a 5-inch by 5-inch square of aluminum foil wrapped over on itself. And this can be used for signaling, of course. It can also be used to boil water in. I've made a video using this little square of foil, shaping into like a cup, and then putting some water in it, and using the fire from the bracelet I was able to boil water. You can also use this in fishing as kind of something to catch the fish's eye to increase your chances that they're going to bite. I'm just slowly unraveling this. I want to make sure I'm not going to tear it or anything. Alright, so there we go. We've got this aluminum foil spread open a little bit now, and you can see, you know, there's no punctures or anything in there. And we can use this to shape into a nice little cup to start a fire. So there's your one item we've just taken out, heavy duty aluminum foil. We've got a nice little Bushman wire in here, very flexible wire. Use as a bell wire to pull something hot out of the fire, or as a nice little rotisserie, cooking some squirrel or something on there. Most of the items in here, you're going to need some training and experience. You're only as good as your own experience when you're out there trying to survive. So no piece of gear, no matter what it is going to help you survive if you don't know how to use it. So this is jute. Jute makes a great fire tinder as well. Almost a foot of jute. And we'll show you how to use this to help make a fire. And also some of that fiber stuff is stuck on this duct tape. You can actually burn the duct tape. It makes a great fire source. Now let's say you get injured, right? Maybe I cut myself opening it, or you know, almost like a morale booster. You're not going to open this entire bracelet to get to a band-aid, but if you've opened it for some other reason and you do have some sort of injury, you can open this band-aid up. And, you know, help stave off some sort of infection from an injury. Alright, so we'll continue to open this. Do use caution when opening it. There are sharp things like fishing hooks and more razor blades inside this. Alright, now we fully opened it up. and we do have a whole lot more stuff inside. So let's start taking some items out. First, we've got a storm-proof match. This is going to be great for getting a fire lit in windy conditions. UCO, we'll lay that down. We've also got a lead pencil in here, and it's inside of a protected plastic case, plastic barrier. So if you need to take a note, write down a note, slide that out, so you've got something to hold it onto. And you can use it to write. So just a pencil lead, leave a message. Alright, so we've also got 2 MSR water purification tablets in here. So we'll spread this open. Each water purification tablet, which there's 2 of them, is going to be good for 2 liters of water. So you've got a total of 4 liters of water. Break one open if you just need one, drop it in your bottle of water, 2 liters, and mix it up for 10 minutes and let it sit for 30 minutes. And you've got purified water. Bacteria, Giardia, anything that may cause you harm, it's going to take care of that. You've got a nail in here. You've got a shim pin for shimming handcuffs. You've got a needle in here. You can take the links of the paracord, the little individual strands inside, and use this as a suturing tool or to repair gear. You've got a carving blade. It's like an X-Acto blade. Now this one is very sharp, and it's also got a little lanyard hole there on the end, so you can fashion that into a spear. You know, make a little divot onto a wood stick and wrap around it to secure it. And you've got a strike anywhere match in here. Additionally, you're going to have a backup ferro rod. This is pretty much the same one that's inside the buckle, just kind of a backup rod. If your other one breaks or falls off or whatever and you can't find it, you got a backup source of fire using that ferrocium. We've got a fishing hook in here. It's a Eagle Claw 8 size. And we've got 2 different types of safety pins or security pins in here. And then you've got your duct tape left. It's a little raggedy, but when you need a little bit of duct tape, or you want to take this and burn it or whatever to sustain a fire, at least you do have something there. So there's what we got left. So again, we've got the duct tape, we've got the excess ferro rod there, we've got the stormproof match, the ferro rod, security pin, shim pin, nail, strike anywhere match, safety pin, needle, carving blade. I said the fishing hook already. 2 safety pins, jute. You've got your 4 ranger bands. You've got your lead pencil. You've got your tinder wick. You've got your Kevlar saw, your wire, your foil, and then let's not forget about the other things we had here. You got your P38 with all the functions it has. Let's take all this cord out so we can see the full length of the cord. So there's your compass. And again, I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely appreciate it. I told the folks on the live video we're offering them 25% off just for watching us, and we're going to extend that code to anyone watching our videos. You can use the promo code Superesse Live. It's the word Superesse and the word live together. That'll give you 25% off anything in our shop. Okay, now we've got that other ranger band off. We do have to finish unweaving this real quick. And if you know how to weave a paracord bracelet, you can always weave this back together. Or if you use this in a survival situation, get in touch with me and we'll see about replacing it. I just want to, I know you guys are probably wanting to see me make a fire, but I want to go ahead and unravel all this. Because I guess I'm OCD maybe. And our paracord bracelets are going to have a lot more than most paracords because we put a whole lot of paracord in the actual core that a lot of people don't. Alright, so now we've got everything undone, and we'll wrap this paracord up so you can see how much we got there. So now you've got all this paracord, one single individual length. Okay, so now we've got everything out, and I'm sure you guys would like to see me make a fire now. I don't really think I need to demonstrate like how to go fishing with the fishing hook, but everybody wants to see a fire. So let me clear my space off here, put everything out of the way, and we'll make a fire. So what we're going to do, we're going to reserve this tinder wick and this jute, and we're going to save the parts of the buckle that have the ferro rod built in, and we'll slide this out of the way. We'll also keep those 4 Ranger bands over here. Alright, so first things first, you want to make sure you have a striking device. You can use your knife, or you can use the built-in ceramic razor blade, which we're going to do. Then you want to prepare your tinder. With anything, you want more surface area, so when you're shooting a spark off that ferro rod, you've got more surface area for that spark to likely catch. So you take a knife against the tinder and just kind of fluff it up, scrape it up, fray it, and it creates a nice little nest that your sparks will be able to catch onto. And you don't need all of it, but I want to make a pretty good fire. You can save this tinder wick and get a good 5 fires out of it. So here's what it looks like when it's been frayed up a little bit. And we're going to keep running through that a couple more times. Make it almost like nice, like cotton almost. And we'll have us a nice fire here. Now the difference between the tinder wick and the jute is the tinder wick is going to catch that spark a lot better because it's actually coated in materials designed for starting a fire. The tinder wick is a more kind of a improvised tinder. It's going to fray up and fluff really well to have a lot of surface area, but it's not going to have that the oils on it to help sustain that fire. So if you're going to use the jute, you do the same thing. You just fray up the jute like that. So you've got a nice fluff on it there. And so the next thing you want to do, first of all, you want to get all your kindling ready if you're going to make a big fire. Have all your extra fuel sources ready to lay on top of this. Try to protect it from the wind. You could use your strike anywhere match to run across the hard surface and light up. Of course, your stormproof, you'll need that surface, actual surface to run against. You could put the stormproof match on here if you really want a good chance of making a fire, or making it blow up. We don't need that. I like fire, so I'm going to go ahead and add it on there. Now we're going to get a ferro rod. This ferro rod's never been used before, so you want to direct it above the nest of tinder, and you want to do some slow strikes to expose the actual silver looking color inside. That's what you're going to need to start the fire. So we're doing some slow strikes first just to get this black coating off the ferro rod until we can see the silver underneath basically. And I'll tell you when I'm ready to strike it, so you can see basically, hopefully we can do it on the first or second strike or so. So I think we've We've got that coating off. So now I'm going to take one quick direct strike right into the nest, and we'll see if we can get it started here in just a couple of strikes. Then you want to take your Ranger bands, because they'll work really good for prolonging the fire. A Ranger band is going to burn for about a minute or more, but it's going to burn long enough to sustain a fire until you get the tinder and stuff on top burning as well. So if you guys like fire, you probably would like this. So there's you a quick demo of the Bug Out Bracelet. We've got a lot of other ones. We've got ones with built-in flashlights. We've got ones with pry bars, seatbelt cutters, whatever it may be, we do have it. Check us out at superessestraps.com, and remember, use the promo code SuperesseLive. That's going to give you 25% off your order. We appreciate you watching. This is Wesley from Superesse Straps. I'm going to go ahead and close out our YouTube video, and I'll stay on live with Offgrid, Off the Grid Guide, and Superesse Straps, and we'll start answering some questions and, you know, seeing what you guys have to say. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below, and please share this video out. Again, this is Wes from Superesse Straps, and you guys take care.